we're stepping up in the world from color to advance!
Do you see that, Munch? That's you! You're in a handheld game!
Hey guys, Lytane here, and today I'm going to be finishing off my 5-year anniversary by taking a look at the final handheld Oddworld game to come out, Munch's Oddysee for the Game Boy Advance, and see if it's worth it. Oddworld Munch's Oddysee for the Game Boy Advance was released in 2003, taking 2 years to port this one over compared to the last 2 games. From the start, you can see another major graphical step up, but it's also compressed as hell. I don't know about you, but every Oddworld game I play, I always go into the game speak for some reason, and here is no exception. So what do we have this time? A static image. It doesn't even move. Hell, you can't even press any of the buttons to hear them talk at all. It is a useless page of nothing. What a letdown, man. When the Game Boy games did it so much better, just to see this do nothing? That's a shame. Starting up the game, the story is, as you might have guessed, a simpler version of the Xbox game. It starts a short way into the story with Abe and Munch already knowing each other and being sent on a mission to save Windbreak Hill. Yay, fart joke. Abe and Munch will have to work together in order to infiltrate the Glukkon company, take down the guy in charge, and rob him so everyone else will lose interest in the area, letting Abe's tribe prosper. Wait, did I say a simpler version? Because it's actually a lot more original than I thought. While not groundbreaking, it does do some things differently. Gone is the subplotter building up a powerful yet dumb Glukkon, and gone are the experiments done to Munch. He is just the way he is because. But the craziest part is that they left out all of Munch's motivation. Why is he going on this mission? Why is he friends with Abe? If you have played the original, then you would know he's looking for the Gabbit egg so he can try and bring back his species, and the Glukkons have them. But here, all of that is gone. Munch doesn't even have a story in Munch's Oddysee. I also can't help but notice that right out of the gate, you play as Abe. Yep, the first level in Munch's Oddysee is an Abe one. I mean, this is very true to the original, but I just don't get it. I know Abe is popular, but we can have other characters. I mean, Stranger's Wrath proves that. So you'll notice here that the graphics of the game are alright. The level design is good with lots of details and different locations. The character sprites are alright. Not the best I've seen on the hardware, but they aren't bad. They also tried to implement a 3D nature to the game, being a top-down platformer instead of a side-scroller. But for some reason, the controls are just utter crap. How can a game on a system with more buttons and more power be worse than the one that came before it? A is still your generic use action kind of button, and B is still your jump. But now R chants and L is context sensitive.
It's sensitive to context.
Holding L and pressing A, for instance, will say hello, or pressing B will say wait, and R says work. Tapping the 2 shoulder buttons will tell your friends to attack, and while all of this sounds great, the controls just don't work. Nothing feels like it works whenever you press the combination of buttons, and to be honest, it is a little confusing. Some of the times you press it, nothing happens. One thing I noticed right away when playing this game was that all of the negatives I had with the original are translated over to this game. I get it, they wanted to make a somewhat authentic experience, but when you have the opportunity to fix problems, why not do so? Nah, that's crazy talk. So the jumping? Awkward, especially with the depth perception here. It's hard to tell how high some of the ledges are and how far away your jump can go. You also have to collect spoos in this game in order to possess things or open doors, but you can't share them between characters, and there are certain doors that can only be opened by one of the characters. But that's okay because you can chant to bring the spoos back. So it's not even important because it is an endless supply, it just wastes your time. Keeping with the original design, Munch is also much slower on land, painfully slow, and now there is no wheelchair, so it's just so crud to get around, unless you are in water of course. Abe is faster, but he also feels a little slow, which you don't notice until you pick up the espresso power-up, making him run, and that is such a good speed compared to his normal slow-ass walk that you'd just be begging to be an espresso the entire game like I was. But I'm not done ranting yet. You will need other Mudokons to open doors and fight for you, but getting them around the levels can be an absolute chore. For some goddamn reason, they kept the fact that none of these guys can jump up ledges or jump down from them. If you need to get them up or down, you have to pick them up one by one and then throw them around. It is time consuming, tedious, and annoying. The worst part is that pressing A to pick them up doesn't even work most of the time. I swear I had to keep pressing the button and readjusting myself just to pick them up. Shortly into the game, you will control both Abe and Munch in order to finish the levels, and each has their own section of things to do. But because Munch is so slow, I never wanted to play as him. I would do everything I could with Abe before reluctantly being Munch. But I'm still not done ranting. Remember how I said the graphics are nice enough? Well, that's true until you get about 10 minutes into the game and you've seen all 3 different locations. These get repeated over and over again. As some of the later levels are maze-like, you will get lost. It's a sure thing. Trying to find all of the fuzzles, all of the slaves is hard due to the repetitive nature of the levels. How do I remember if I've searched a room that looks exactly the same as all of the others? And of course, there is no map. There are also some pseudo 3 rooms that look really ugly and control even worse. Who knows why they're even here? So it's repetitive and the levels can look really bland. All of that Oddworld flavor seems to have been sapped from this title, just like the OG game. And it's not due to hardware limitations this time, because this is essentially a different game made for a GBA 2 years after the original, so I don't know why they didn't go and do so much more. But my rant is not over. There are even faults that have nothing to do with the original. They're unique to this game. Whenever you perform any action in the game, the music just stops and then restarts. It is so jarring, and it happens every single time. You want to pick up a character, music will start. Pull a lever, music restarts. Change to a different screen, music restarts. It's such a weird thing because the music isn't that bad. I like it, I just wish I could listen to the entirety of a song. The progression through the story is okay, being more of its own thing, but the ending of the game is an absolute joke. You have to do a very lengthy level before the final boss, and I say boss, but it's not really. You enter the room as Abe, drop down, walk past the sligs that are trying to kill you, and they don't even follow you because you can just walk behind this pillar. Then you possess the Glockstar and the game just ends. You don't even do anything with him. It just goes to the story cutscene of you opening the vault for the eggs, but it doesn't even make any sense. Why would the Glukkons abandon the whole area because they don't have their wealthy eggs anymore? What even are these eggs? Why would they abandon the factories, most of which are still around, because they have no money? Can't they just get more money from another source and then move back there? Also, what was even the point of the whole factory and company? What did they do? What do they manufacture? I know I'm looking way too into it, but it's hard not to when I'm so bored. It's not hard to make a coherent story, right? Right? The end of the game was just there. It is so unexpected, but I was just kinda glad it was over. But then I thought to myself, so what did Munch do here? He helps out in the game for sure, but he doesn't do anything in the finale. He doesn't stop the big bad guy, he isn't even needed in the final fight at all. In the cutscene, he just is kind of around while they get all the eggs out, and that's it. He didn't have any personal story here, so he has no conclusion. Once again, Munch gets shafted in his own game. I'm so sorry, buddy. In my opinion, Oddworld Munch's Oddysee for the Game Boy Advance is not worth it. If you couldn't tell from my very lengthy negative rant, the game is slow, boring, and repetitive. Munch is still a side character, if you could even call him that, in his own game. Not even given a backstory or motivation to help out Abe. The graphics are alright, but you see the same locations over and over again, so it's easy to get lost. I did like the music though whenever I could hear it, but this is inferior to the original game in every way, which is sad when the original wasn't super great. So there you have it, all 3 Game Boy games. It was a lot of fun to play these games and have a look at them. I feel like they are always overlooked when it comes to this franchise. I'm also surprised we didn't get to see a remake of Stranger's Wrath on like the Nintendo DS or something. It did get a PS Vita port, but that's not what I want. I want a remake. So guys, tell me what you thought about Munch's Oddysee for the Game Boy Advance. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you even bother with this port, or did you only play the original? And out of these two versions, which do you prefer? Write it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Done for another year. And next year we get to do Soulstorm. These are so entertaining. Why are they so funny? So dumb.